Have you noticed how expensive it is to eat healthy? I have too. In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 ways that you can eat healthy, organic, good, clean food without damaging your monthly cash flow. Hi, I'm Camille Gaines. I'm a personal finance author, and here I share tips and strategies to reach financial independence. In this video, I want to share with you 7 things that I've discovered, 7 ways to eat healthier without spending a fortune. This whole thing came about because several years ago, I kept getting migraine headaches, and I had had them for years, but they got worse and worse. And I finally figured out that it was related to the food that I was eating. So I made a lot of dietary changes, and that included eating healthier, cleaner food. I know that organic makes more sense, right? And so that's something that I try to do as well. But you may have noticed that it costs a lot more to eat healthier. So these are some of the ways that I've discovered that I don't spend that much money on eating healthy anymore. So the very first thing is simply to check and see how much money you're spending on groceries every single month. You might go to several different stores as we were doing, and so on the spreadsheet where we track our expenses or look at our expenses, I had them broken out, but when I added them all up, I might purchase at Costco, and some of it is groceries and some of it not, or maybe at Whole Foods or Farmers Market, all these different places. And so once I totaled up how much I was spending, or we were spending as a family on food, I was shocked. Now, we being my husband and I, and our son, young adult son lives with us, and our other one is nearby, so he eats here a lot as well, right? So we all love that home food. And so we were spending so much more money than we wanted to spend on groceries every month. So check and see, where are you? How much are you spending? We were shocked, and we have significantly reduced the amount of money that we're spending on groceries just by paying attention. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to plan. This one is huge. This applies to everything, but especially to food, because when you plan, you can shop the sales, you can have less waste, and it costs a lot less if you plan your meals out. So that's step number 2. And I'm not a big planner anymore around this. I spend just a few minutes jotting down, oh, okay, we can have this that night, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my planning in one of my other tips. The next strategy is simply to watch your protein, okay? So this was where we found we were spending so much money. For example, I am a meat eater. My whole family is meat eaters. We live in Texas. The guys love steaks. And so a last minute thing would be, hey, we don't have anything to eat. Larry might run grab some steaks. This would happen 2 or 3 times a week. And so once you start paying attention to how much you're spending on your protein, then you can significantly lower your costs. Halibut, for example, is $25 a pound. That is insane. Now, sometimes it goes on sale, and it's great, but $25 a pound when it was for fish. So watch your protein costs. There are other delicious things that you can eat protein-wise. Eggs, delicious homemade sausage at Whole Foods Market, and Sprouts also has a delicious sausage that is not crazy. So when you sort of say, on average, I think I'll spend about $10 a pound, or whatever it is that you set for your budget that works for you. This is one of our priority spending. So we do categorize and spend a lot on food, so it's important to us. So whatever it is for you, set an amount that you'll sort of average and work toward for your protein. So that's not to say you can't have that steak, or maybe even the $25 a pound halibut, although that one is hard for me. This is to say that you can have it, but you're going to watch your protein costs, because that's the biggest thing. Then the very next step I want to share with you is think of, instead of budgeting and saying we're going to spend X amount of dollars, start with, what do we need every week to live and to eat well? And that list starts with, usually in our house, it starts with vegetables, fruit, meat. I don't eat bread, but for the guys around here, bread, tortillas, whatever it is. And when you start from there and you add up the cost of what you actually came up with, it's pretty inexpensive. But what happens when you go to the grocery store is you start grabbing sauces and things that are on sale that I don't know about in your house, but often in our house, those sauces 6 months later get thrown away because they didn't get eaten or they go bad or someone opens it and it's not consumed. So start with what you really need to eat well and go from there and total that up, and you will probably be amazed at the difference between that amount and the amount that you're actually spending every month. Then the next tip I want to share with you is simply to buy what's on sale. Wow, this one is huge. Look at the sale flyer and see if it makes sense for you to go to one store versus another. For example, I might notice that Sprouts is having a great sale on a couple of different proteins that I eat, so I might go there, or Trader Joe's, or Whole Foods, wherever it is, and then I'll focus my meals for that week around those sale items. So that is the next tip. The next tip I want to share with you is keep the receipts from the grocery store and just stick them into a drawer. How many times have you bought something, maybe even splurged on something, you open it up and it's gone bad? And this happens a lot with produce, fresh flowers. A day later, the roses are wilted, or 2 days later, right? And so we do have expectations that groceries will be good or flowers will be good for a few days after we purchase them, but often that doesn't happen. And who wants to lug back some rotten food to the grocery store, right? I don't know about you, but I throw my errands in the car and get to them when I get to them. I'm not going to take back some food. But if you keep your receipt in a certain drawer in your kitchen, which is what we do, and then when you notice something's bad, which honestly happens several times a month, 2 or 3 times a month, just make a note on the receipt. The store is always great about it, and you probably are not the only person that had a problem with those items. So that's the next tip. The very next tip I want to share with you is put a little whiteboard on your refrigerator. And this is a great place to say, hey, we've got leftover this. Don't forget to eat the whatever it is. I don't know about you guys, but in our house, sometimes something that's really delicious and left over will get kind of shoved to the back and we think it got eaten and it didn't get eaten. And so with this whiteboard, it's a great reminder not only to eat the things that are in there, but it works really well to remind yourself to eat healthy. You can make a note on there of what you've run out of, although I am leaning more toward online apps for that these days. Anyway, the whiteboard has been great for us. So those are the tips that I wanted to share with you to reduce your spending costs on food while still allowing yourself to eat very, very healthy, organic, clean food, which I think is super important because, well, I think your health is probably a little more important even than money, because if you don't have that, what difference does it make? That's what I wanted to share with you in this video. If you found this information helpful, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. This is a little bit different from what I normally do, but some of these things I'm just discovering in my own life and I'm really wanting to share them with you. So if you found it helpful, love it if you'd share it, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.